You have the code for coming
All right. 6:30, this is the North Hero Parks and Recreation monthly meeting. It's September 2nd, 2025. Introducing ourselves for the audio recording, Jean Mellerall, Chair.
Evan Meenan, member.
Denise Patel, member.
John Scutel, member.
Bonnie Cody, member.
Tim O'Reilly, member.
Got Sainsbury, member. Tim Moore, the select board.
Let me just see,
Michael Foster, member.
she's not, Mary Jo's not on yet. Any adjustments to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, August meeting review of the minutes. Any discussion? Approval of the minutes then?
Good.
So moved.
You're welcome.
Second?
Thank you.
Second,
I'll second.
any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved.
You know, thanks.
And seeing no visitors.
Mary Jo.
Is she back on yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mary Jo, are you on?
Maybe I wonder if she's muted or something. Maybe.
Oh, she is.
Oh, yeah.
Here I am. I'm here. Yep. Thank you.
All right, camps, recap on the swim, nature and pre-K?
Exactly. They were wonderful. I'm gonna be passing around, director's summaries of how the camps went, so doing this and that. And everything went really well. I have a couple of I have mostly positive parent evaluations. There were a couple of, where parents had a couple of, suggestions that I've already addressed. One of them was from, the Decker kids, and this is, remember the name of the grandmother whose son's name, it's Bronnie Lee. Her only concern is that, she's not quite sure when registration begins. So I answered her and told her that it usually begins at the end of March. Start checking our web page. at the end of March. So I took care of that. The other one was, a parent, let's see.
And I just going back from, I felt like, there was like something sent out electronically, I think. Yeah, okay. All right.
Mhm.
I can see mine. We send out a lot of.
Yeah, okay.
It goes up.
Yeah.
on the site,
Yeah.
actually, at the end of February,
Mhm.
but I thought it was just a good reminder for this grandmother that she should start checking the website at the end of March. And then the other one was, a mom who would like information that her child's registration was received. And usually what we do is, as soon as parents pay up, we send them a confirmation. So we can set up, I think we can set up something on the Google Docs that gives a parent, acknowledgement that the registration was received. So, but they're not really in the camp until they pay. So I would suggest that to Lauren, that she makes that a different button or whatever.
You might also just have Lauren do just a little research about Cheddar Up. That's what they used in Grand Isle, and I think it does a lot of these pieces automatically. If she's looking for an easier system, I think it might be free. You pay them a little percentage of the credit card fees.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'll,
And I mentioned that to her.
yeah,
She's
cheddar.
very familiar with the Google Doc.
Okay.
She's is in school, she's teaches, so. But I'll mention that. Okay. Possibly that would be something that I could do, if it's a lot easier.
I think it is pretty easy.
But teachers these days are always formatting through Google Docs. So camps went really well. Should I bring up the issue that happened on that?
Yeah, that's the next item.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, on in the middle of the week, you know, pre-K nature camp. Pauline had all kids, they're probably around 12, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds out on the short loop trail, doing a hike, and they do a lot of investigating in the woods. And all of a sudden, 2 dogs came charging at them. No owner. A big dog. She thought it looked sort of like an Irish Wolfhound type, and she's familiar with dogs. And she's a dog lover as well, and a little dog. And she was there. I think Mia was probably back at the Longhouse prepping. That would be my guess.
She was following, no, she was
was
out there.
following.
She was in the back end of the
Yeah.
group.
Okay, yeah. So kids were scared, of course. Pauline and Mia were trying to calm them down, but it was a situation that could have been horrendous. All of a sudden, the owner comes running after the dogs. So I think, and Pauline also noticed that the owner is not picking up after the dogs either. But my suggestion is that we close the camp for hikers during camp sessions.
Now, you notified Robert too,
Yes,
so
I-
Robert, the animal control officer,
Yeah.
has been involved.
Yeah,
And so we know who the owner is
No.
and, no,
He couldn't
No.
figure it out.
and no, I haven't heard back from
Okay.
Robert. He said that he could sometimes figure out who the owner is, depending on who the dogs were, in terms of whether they're registered or not. We had no idea if they're registered or not. No, he hasn't figured that out.
Well, chances are they're not, because the population, all the people that are here for summer aren't registering their dogs
Exactly.
here.
Yeah, we have no idea who the person is, whether it's a citizen of North Hero or not. That's a real problem.
So Bernie did put up a sign to close the trails for the last 2 days, of which I went over there and it was ignored. There was no dog, and the dog was on a leash, the people that were walking, but they went the other way. They didn't see your sign that was straight ahead. They went out in front of it. So I don't know, if we decide to close this, I think we need to be a little bit more robust about it and maybe do
Yeah.
something at the gate, at the entrance to the parking lot.
Something across the gate area.
But this follows last year. We also had last year, we also had an incident where somebody wanted to go look at the kitchen in the middle of a camp. And so I don't know if it was last year or the year
What
before.
was last year? They just.
It was
walked in.
last year, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so we can't have people
We
on the
can't.
premises, and either we need to police it or do something here or to block them from coming in.
Yeah.
and there are signs in the parking lot
Believe me.
that say, have a leash and pick up
Oh,
after.
yeah, that's ignored.
So that, I mean, not to think the worst of people, but anyone who's inclined to ignore that is probably going to ignore any sign closing the camp
Well, I was
And I
thinking
think
about
perhaps
putting a
maybe-
chain in front of the
parking lot.
parking
area.
lot.
Yeah, just.
And
keep-
then, but somebody would have to be there when the parents are
Right.
coming and going.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
only problem.
I mean, how frequently do we get issues specific with the dog? Because my view is like closing it to dogs during those hours might be slightly different than closing it to all public footpath, all public traffic, just foot traffic. Do we have the ability to close down the area that would access the trails that are on land not owned by us would be another question. And then also, I think the buildings are a little bit different because we even have like a calendar of when those buildings are being reserved.
Mhm.
So I think excluding someone from a building that's being, used by specific people is a little bit different, I think, than closing down the entire property.
So the problem is we have what, 12 kids that are 3, 4, 5 years old
Mhm.
and 2 adults,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Mhm.
In the whole property to police and make sure that nobody's coming on board and to make sure these kids are nice and safe. What would have happened if a dog actually attacked one of the children?
Mhm.
Would it-
Just people- Yeah, well, with just 2 people
Yeah.
and like 12 kids.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's sort of the, one bad apple ruining the entire bunch, right? So like, how frequently would this mean the trails are closed? How frequently do we encounter issues like this?
We
I mean, I
have
think it's a
three-
pretty big
three-
step.
3 weeks of summer camps,
Okay,
okay, and they wouldn't be closed all day,
Mhm.
they would be closed during camp time.
right.
And so the directors would, 3 or 4 hours,
Mhm.
and the director, depending on the camp. And the directors would remove the chain and open it up after they leave. They're in a very vulnerable situation there as well.
Mhm.
They're sort of at the
Mhm.
end.
Yeah.
And there's no one there
Right,
for help.
yeah.
There are 2 young women who are doing it. And I just think that considering what happened this summer, I think we need to take these steps to protect the kids and camp directors.
Yeah.
Camp directors shouldn't have to be worrying about this. Strangers walking during camp time. And, the Camp Angus is open for 365 days.
Mhm.
So 3 weeks out of that amount of time is not a big deal.
Well, I think it was advertised ahead of time.
Yeah.
If we decide to do this, and we start advertising it, that the camps will be closed on these days, the trails will be closed, the full camps. So you can't, because the kids just aren't in the building.
Right.
They're on the trails, they're all over.
In fields.
So how do you police that at all? And
And they go down through the bottom area, they go
Yeah.
down to the water there,
Right.
the older kids do. So think how vulnerable they are.
I'm not,
Way-
I'm not disagreeing with, but there are, you could sit here and come up with a million hypotheticals for ways in which a child could be injured or hurt in the middle of the woods, especially down near that lake access, which is a significant walk. So, I mean, if the issue is also, inadequate access to medical care, inadequate supervision of the children, given the number, the ratio of adults to children, those are all issues that exist in other situations aside from the dog issue. I just think it's excluding dogs is perhaps one thing, but excluding, anybody who might want to use the trail, I think that's a pretty big step in reaction to this, but I understand people might feel differently.
So a lot of schools do that, right?
Well, I think
I don't
one
know,
way
it
of
might.
looking at it is, it's like a school.
Yeah.
And schools are certainly secure these days. I mean, and we've never had an issue, but
No,
it's, strangers,
yeah,
parents that are collecting a child when they shouldn't. I mean, there's could be going on, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we need to start thinking of it like school security.
we do.
So the idea would be, at least for this activity, they're essentially reserving the entirety of the park, just the building
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
They
that's a
use
good
the
way of
entirety
looking
of
at
the
it.
park.
Right.
That's a good way of looking. at it.
Yeah.
Whether or not someone else would be able to do that is sort of, I guess, an issue for another day. But
Yeah.
at least for this particular activity, the town activity,
Mhm.
the entire property is reserved.
Yeah, I think that's
that
the way to
group.
look at it.
Yeah, and then it can go, because we do have that calendar, right, for all of the buildings in town?
Yeah, but
I was looking at it the other day. I hope so. I hope people read it. I hope folks wouldn't just ignore it, but I guess that's what we're talking about, is folks ignoring things.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
100% of the
when,
time.
he did put up a sign and still people went
Yeah,
on the trail.
yeah.
Now, they had their dog leash, they were
Yeah.
in control. It was a big dog,
Right.
but they
Yeah.
still had walked by that. Now, they could have not seen it because it was set up in one of them, but I think we need to do it at the entrance if we're gonna do it.
Yeah, okay.
What does anybody else think?
Well, we should, if we have signage that said closed for the camp, we could
Right.
also say, please enjoy felots
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's true,
Send them to the other camps.
right,
Now, there is the issue of access to Butternut Ridge,
yeah.
so how do you?
Well, we're not
We
guaranteed.
could follow up on
that.
that later,
Guarantee that.
you know,
don't
with
guarantee
them. You know, we could agree to allow the camp to reserve it during these, to the exclusion of the general public, subject to any rights that the people, you know, whoever owns, I can't remember the organization who,
Nature.
The
the Nature
Conservancy.
Conservancy, any rights that the
And,
Nature Conservancy has.
Land trust,
Yeah,
like Lake
yeah.
Champlain.
I
Land
don't
Trust.
know.
They have the right way.
Yeah,
For that
Right.
small amount of time.
It's a right of
probably not
way.
gonna care too much,
They don't have one.
No,
No, they don't have the right.
right?
no.
They don't have a right of way.
Oh, they don't, oh, it's, okay,
I think it's this
It's a
informal.
partnership.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but we can just tell them we're doing this,
Yeah.
and I don't think they'll have any.
I don't think we'll.
Yeah, and you know, the Nature Conservancy would just.
They
not
prefer to have,
people.
yeah, exactly.
And they're
Oh,
great.
really? Yeah.
They don't want dogs, right?
Okay.
So.
Should we
anyone-
put, we might need to have a sign on the gate, you know, the gate we use as emergency. Cause when I went there to look at the tree that had fallen, one of the neighbors came through that gate with their dog on a leash. But it might be nice to put a sign there.
Wait, are you talking about,
A dog sign.
are you talking about from next door, north?
Yep.
Okay,
The gate.
yeah, the gate that they can get through. Yeah, I think probably we could put a little sign on that gate and tell the neighbors that. I mean, we know the neighbors,
Yeah, we do.
and I think that they would understand that, actually.
Well, how far do you take it? I mean, we have a pickleball camp, a kayak camp, the meld. I mean, you know, Bonnie, there's people on the playground.
Mm,
Yeah,
That are, you know,
It's a good
melding
question.
with the kids. How do you do that separation if you're gonna do it at Ingles? And if you're launching down at Knights Point and there's people there, you know?
well, those are both, yeah, it's a tricky thing.
I would suggest that, I mean, these are great discussions, but not taking any action this evening, in time, but what the sort
Yeah.
of also. The chat with, if it's the town legal counsel or someone about, it may be the select board that has the ability to close down a public,
Mhm.
place. And, you know, because the town owns the property, not this committee, so I would suggest before taking any formal action, just running up, I don't know, Tim, if you could run that by someone. Or just to see what the process or procedure would be if we were thinking of an enactment of, you know, closing down a certain area for a certain period of time or certain days. How would we go about doing that? Do you have to request it at the select board or what would be the process?
I don't know the answer.
No, I know, but
Yeah,
that's.
yeah, but I think, a thing to do would be, I think you're right about not deciding anything today.
Yeah,
And to have this discussion starting in March, maybe? When are the camp counselors? Cause they should be involved in these discussions too. Maybe not with all the committee, but their input, I think, would think. Cause they're the ones that are managing it.
right, I think that those are decisions that we can. That we can listen to their ideas about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a committee.
And I think what would
Decision.
happen if the committee comes up with a policy or whatever you wanna call it, to bring that to the select board for approval. And I think that
So,
would
you know,
probably-
you would have to wait. I mean, generally, the select board has given the committee the authority to manage the parks and the camps. But I think we still would have to go back. We do work for them. select board,
Well, if,
so.
I like the idea of a policy, if we make it a policy, then there's no question, and they
Right.
voted on it, and
Yeah.
there's no, and
And
it's
that
out for the
policy-
public.
Well, I was
See-
just gonna say, if either we take this up again, which I think is a good idea, or the select board does, listing it as a specific line item on the agenda, because I could imagine this
Mhm.
might be an issue where
Mhm.
some people would
Yeah.
like to weigh in.
Mhm.
And the policy could read, on town property, and that excludes the state park or the,
Mhm.
you know, the dunes or,
Right, yeah, you would.
yeah.
But that doesn't
But-
answer your question, though.
Well, for
you
a
know,
while, when.
Well, all of the directors and anybody that's associated with the camps has to go through all of the training
Yeah.
and the background check and all of that anyway.
And I
So-
think one of the reasons why I was trying to avoid some of the problems that you were coming up with by reframing it as, oh, how do we define the facility that someone is able to rent out, right? So like the pickleball courts is, that's the facility, right? You can't bring your dog to play fetch on the pickleball court, right? You know, and so that's one, you know, how are we defining
Define.
that? Because then you avoid some of those other issues potentially, but I think it's a good idea to take it up with.
We did, when we play and the kids are in school, we can't go into the school. And we were told for a while, that we couldn't talk to the kids. The kids used to come and retrieve balls for us, and then that was the end of that.
That's
No
pretty
no more
good.
talking to the kids.
The grandparents.
So they-
You can't talk to your-
They kept them separate from us and we didn't engage.
One of the days of camp, there was an incident and the police were involved. A man at the school wanted to use the bathroom and was knocking on the door and they said, no, you can't use the bathroom. And he said, I'm a taxpayer. I get to use the bathroom. So they kind of locked down the school. But you know, there are people who think because it's a public park, because it's a public school, that they're allowed to use these facilities, but you're not allowed to enter a school when there are children present unless you're accompanied by a staff member ever, regardless,
Was this during?
during pickleball
school?
camp.
Oh,
So
during
they had
camp.
daycare. They
Oh,
had the
that's
day camp.
daycare.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, that person was probably of that age when they don't remember.
No, they weren't. They just were angry,
From me,
kooky.
yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
I think of how we define it too, instead of saying they're closing it, you can say it's reserved for the exclusive use
Right.
of.
Mhm.
I was thinking of a sign on that chain that Gene was talking about. It's a sign, you know, very polite. You know, please note.
Walk down the beach.
I don't think we can be too careful with our kids, really.
I don't know that.
Just don't, I mean, I'm going to see the superintendent on Thursday once again to see if she'll send home information about safe gun storage for the 3rd or 4th or 20th time. And I was going to do it anyway, but that, you know, that shooting in the school, not that we're worried necessarily about shooting, but I thought I called the next day and I have an appointment on Thursday. And it's not something about this committee, but I just think, you know, our kids are, you know, we're too precious to say, oh, what if someone feels bad? Well, tough bananas, you know, someone's inconvenienced. They have to walk on the road instead of on the trails. That's life now.
Okay, so. What?
So
Table this.
I don't know if it would be worthwhile you giving us feedback from the select board, not in a formal way, but how they would view this so that we
We're
have a
having a
little
special
direction.
Tomorrow, so I can just bring it up.
Yeah, just
quickly,
to see,
just to- Yeah, what are your ideas?
yeah, and if this is problematic or not. Okay,
I just wrote a little summary about the incident. Would you
Oh,
want me to
great.
share that? And I'd be happy to come talk to this for us.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. I think,
let's not make it that formal yet.
yeah, I think if you come up with a policy, if you have time to think about it, it's gonna be a reasonable policy and bring it to the board in like January, February, so it's in place when
Right,
camp
Okay.
season is, you know, being organized.
Okay. Anything else with camps? All right, lots, the deer exclusion fencing.
Yeah. Saturday. Saturday morning, work on the deer exclusion fence. So anybody who wants to join, that'd be really great.
I plan on coming, there's an event here I have to set up for, but after that's set up, I plan on coming down.
Super.
Yeah.
what time is that, Scott?
I think she's got it.
8:30, I think.
8:30, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll probably show up at 8. And with the fencing and the pipes and the stuff like that. And probably drive it in from the far end. Is that gate doesn't lock, right? I mean,
No,
Just a
we can-
change.
Yeah,
just
just
enough to-
drive it in, so. I'll be down below. so
Okay.
I think we plan to meet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Brush hogging at P-Lots, we had the Osprey Field done a little earlier this year. There's some money left to have another section done. I think the center. The middle meadow is probably needs it the most.
Yeah.
Everyone- So I'm gonna move forward with arranging for that for October. Can I have up to $800? For pre-approval on that?
I move that we pre-approve 800 for meadow mowing at P-lots.
I second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. I don't think it's gonna be that much. I'm guessing it's around 400 or 500, but just in case, it's a big area. I'm gonna talk, I thought Terry was gonna be here today. We really need to get blazing done on Maple Meander before winter because people's snowshoes were wandering over the place looking for the trails. So before winter, we probably should look at the blazing, but I'll talk to Terry about that.
I know she doesn't have a plan for it, because she put it on the list of things for us to talk about.
Okay. Okay. And there's quite a few things that have been going on that fit under other. First of all, the sign that Bernie had put up for no dogs at the entrance to the woods there in P-Lots, somebody actually slashed it. So we're still having vandalism again. There's a damaged sign post that Tim is taking care of across from the entrance to P-Lots that got hit by the mower.
They're mowing the side of the road.
And he's in the process of repairing.
It needs a whole new 4x4. It's got broken off at the ground.
I've got some good news.
If you got one, that'd be great. 6 foot or something like that. I just drove a stake in the ground and screwed it to the post and kept it at the same height, but it needs a new post.
Remind me.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Gene, do you want me to reorder that sign?
No, the sign is fine.
Now the dog.
No.
Oh, your dog's not.
Dog sign. We did put something on the way in, but it probably is a good idea to
Was it
have
one
a
of
few
the
more
red ones?
around. It was the red
I
one.
think we have another.
Yeah.
I've got the metal wiring over in the cabin. I just put it in
I
the
think we have
cabin.
another.
All right, that's fine.
Next up is the boardwalk. Terry, I'll pass around pictures, took a few pictures. We'll talk about the potential on the Capitol later on in this, but if we need to do some interim fixing.
Yeah,
Was this the project that you were saying we applied for at a previous meeting, that we applied for the grant and we got some?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that as we get closer to our planning.
I see.
Because
Okay.
it's like a $37,000 project,
I
but
just wasn't sure if I was thinking of the right.
it's the
project.
same
Okay.
item.
Mhm.
But the problem is she's seeing moss and stuff growing on it now, and there may need to be some repairs, so we're gonna need to do an interim fix on this. And then related to that, one of the stairs down along P-Lots at one of the sites, is this it? Yeah, it's got a break in that too, so one of the steps is broken. This is along P-Lots Bay, the trail along P-Lots Bay at one of the view sites on it.
yeah.
Oh, boy, yeah. That's dangerous.
So I'm gonna raise something. I'm not sure if anybody's interested in this or not. This is a lot of little stuff. I've got a couple more for Ingalls when we get to Ingalls. There's a couple more issues. I'm wondering if we should develop a relationship with a handyman that we can call at any time to come and fix these little things.
I think we should. And
So-
we've talked about this before, yeah.
Just get somebody, show them our spaces, talk to them about the possible work that we would need, that it's needed to be done within a week or two's period from the time we discover it. I don't know, whatever, just.
I agree, because we always, give the responsibility to Terry, and she looks for people to do it, but if nobody's around, she ends up having the burden, and that's not fair.
And I think we need to think about paying
Yeah.
to get it done in the time frame that we'd like. We've been trying to get away with just doing it with purchasing the supplies and then somebody running out there to do it, but I think there's a couple more from Ingalls, which I'll bring up in a few minutes, but it's getting to be kind of a lot.
You have some.
I have it. You have it, right?
No,
Some of
we
them
don't.
mine now. You know, it's a hard position to find. It's almost, maybe, talking to, where's the neighbor guy?
Joe
Kaminsky?
Kaminsky. He's really busy. I think it might be hard for him to move in 2 weeks all the time, especially in the summer.
Some of these
Well, it doesn't
fixes
have to be
are,
in the summer necessarily,
and some of these fixes are only, we're talking probably about an hour and a half
and
or
you can
something
fit
to
it into
do.
a schedule, so it'd be worth talking to them, or somebody like that. There aren't many people like that around.
Yeah, we're talking about building a relationship.
Yeah, and also it needs to be somebody that's insured, it's a company, can meet all of the town requirements for employment. So it can't be just, somebody that's working out of their truck.
Now, I know that Art was talking about setting up a business at some point.
Art Harm,
Yeah,
I mean, he's been working all summer. I don't know if he's got a.
he's on his
bit-
own
bit
place.
busy. Not his own place, but he's over at Jean and Danielle's, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them over there that are doing,
Jean's
but yeah.
keeping him busy. Well, I can fix those. Is the decking on the boardwalk five quarter or is it 2x4?
I think it's
2x6.
2x6s, but, I'm not really sure.
Are those the only issues, Jean, with there, those two? The
At
stairs?
Ingalls, I'm sorry,
Kitty
at
Lot.
Lots, yeah, that I know of.
He said a few of those treads are really spongy as well.
Yeah.
Just the two.
There were some supplies at the very end, but I thought those were the heavier,
They're all
Block.
4x4s.
yeah,
And I think there's any 2x6 in the block.
so we'll have to.
Well, I got some 2x6s. I can
I probably have stuff too, so. If you can get a length on them, then we'll know.
I'll go look at it tomorrow.
I think that's a good idea, Jean, finding
Yeah.
a local handyman who can do little jobs like this. Finding him might be difficult, but
Yeah,
But it would be nice to have somebody like on call or something,
yeah.
Yeah.
if We can do it like in 2 days.
yeah.
Chad has
At least a
turned
week
into
or
that
two.
on-call guy for mowing and tree cutting and that stuff.
Yeah,
We put something in front porch one, saying that you're requesting them.
We could, let's ask around first, but
Yeah.
then I think we won't want to do that.
do you feel like asking around? Do you wanna, or I can?
Well, I can give Joe from Woodstock.
Okay,
I'm gonna see Art in a couple of days. I
Okay.
got 4 of his cement mixers, so I'll ask him. But we asked him to look at
Mhm.
the roof for the Ingles and he's too busy. Yeah, I think summer's just a tough time.
that's why I'm hoping we can, if we establish a relationship, we can get a little bit ahead of the line or something.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we, maintain these places
Right.
professionally.
Yeah.
We are public trails and, we need to do that.
Okay, anything else with feedlots?
Very good that, what are we doing? What's the plan? Wow. The trail up. So we've been looking for grants for.
Yeah, yeah. So just to give you an idea, the grant that I tried for the boardwalk. I went through a screening and they invited you then, right? They gave out about 6 or 7 grants out of 53 applications. All those people spent like 75, 100 hours putting that work together and like 6 or 7 of them got it. It's almost near impossible to get the recreation grants now.
So it does,
But-
here's an issue that maybe I was going to bring up later. Is, do we ever want to think about fundraising?
About what?
Fundraising,
Well, that's,
yeah.
I'm gonna put you on pause and we'll stick to the agenda.
Yeah.
But nope, I have that as a possibility too.
Yeah.
Cause I think we're gonna have to do something like that. Okay, moving on to Ingalls, if nothing else with P-lots. Cabin replacement.
Okay, so I met we have the one quote from, Vermont Construction Roofing Division. Turns out none of these companies will put on rib roofing anymore. They can't warranty it. It has all to do with their, liabilities and warranty because it's externally fastened, insurance companies won't insure it. So that was actually, it was surprised me. Been used forever on barn roofs and everything, and, so, three companies that I had contacted, none of them would do externally fastened roofing. So they gave me a price of $3,700,
Yeah, yep,
to, put a new asphalt shingle roof on it. But we had the metal already. So we can't really do it. Then you gave me a name that Carl had given you. I called him. I met him out there Monday finally. Looked at it. He called me back today with a price, and he will do it. And he does have insurance. He is a company. He says he'll only do this stuff on sheds and barns. He will not do externally fastened stuff on houses or anything else. But he gave me a price of $2,500 to strip it, dispose of the stuff, and ice and water shield the whole thing, and put the metal roof on.
the, other group said there was additional layers, they would charge more because they didn't see, right? They didn't actually come physically
no,
here, but
this
he's
guy was-
looked at it
Yeah,
and this is it.
You can see there's only one way.
Okay,
Barely one way. So, I think we give this guy a try, and he doesn't, it's not a big company, he works, maybe he might have one helper, but I think it's just him, because he doesn't have workers' comp, which he doesn't need as a sole proprietor. He has to sign the release, I think it's part of the, stuff at the town, as a sole proprietor. So I think we give him a try, he might be somebody we can use for other stuff too. And I can call and give him the go-ahead. You've already got approval.
yeah, so because originally this was supposed to be above the $3,000 mark,
Mhm.
we had to get approval from the select board to spend more than $3,000. They gave approval up to $5,000 because we
Mhm.
didn't know the costs
Right.
associated with the original one, so we're already cleared from that perspective
Okay,
on that.
and he might be in there next week doing it. It's gonna take him a day to do it.
What's everyone think?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the $2,500 bid to replace the roof.
And I will call Vermont Roofing and tell them they're out. So,
Okay, a second, Scott? Any further comments on this? All in favor?
But can you just, so Tim made a motion to, I
Oh,
lost my train of thought for a
To
minute.
go
to
ahead with
accept-
William
accept.
Murray. William Murray is the
Oh, he's good.
contractor.
You know,
Yeah, he did my standing seam roof.
okay, yeah, he does stand soon, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Don't call him Bill Murray, he wants to go by.
What was the price on that?
2,500.
So do we want to pre-approve it or any incidentals a little higher?
Maybe, he's including the boot for the stack, there's ice and water shield there, whether he needs any more, I'm not sure, but, maybe go to 3,000.
Okay.
2,900.
Does great room.
That's good to hear, Tim.
We've got 3,000, we can go to the 3,000.
Okay. Just, he sounds like he was pretty firm with that, and I think that's a fair price.
Okay, so I need a motion for pre-approval up to $3,000 for William Murray to do the roof on the cabin. Second,
Second.
any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. The ADA railing,
ADA railing, probably be on, maybe this week, I have it, it's a stainless rail. And you saw that I had to get
Yep.
some, pressure treated 2x4s, to mount it to, it's gotta be mounted at a different height, that was the issue. It's actually a pretty nice rail, you know. So, but that, it's a fairly easy installation.
Anything on the kitchen right now? I know they're just getting rid of camps. They're getting camps
No,
out there. Okay.
that's later. I'm not even thinking about it right now, but at some point, we'll want to move the material from the woods cabin up to the elements.
Okay, as promised, the punch-ins.
Yeah.
I think we need to decide what to do with these, because these are little islands, right, in water. And you have to walk through the water to get to the next island.
You gotta climb up on them.
Yeah, and you have to climb up on them. So you're walking through mud, climb up on for like 10 feet, down in the mud, walking in the 10 feet to get to the next one.
I think the first step is to move them off of the trail completely,
Okay.
or get them out of there.
Is he getting a dumpster for the roof? Can we get rid of this at the same
I
time?
don't, you probably put it in a trail, a dump trailer.
Okay. Okay,
That's what most of those guys do, right now. The dumpster is way too expensive.
okay.
If we can get them out of the woods, we can have Tracy maybe pick them up and take them over.
There's
They're
two of
generally
them.
8 feet long. I don't think they're any longer than that.
There are two of them.
Maybe 10
There's
feet.
two of them. We really need probably about 6 of them in there if we're really to cover the water that's going through there in the spring.
Actually,
Yeah. I would almost recommend just, putting crushed stone
doing what?
there, crushed stone.
You know what they do in Naquette? They actually create a little bit of a ravine to aim the water and then put the crushed stone in, so you don't have to do a whole long run of it. You can try and force it into a smaller area.
Is there a possibility of changing this trail to move it up?
Oh, that might be a thought too.
Because it is going through a low area.
Yeah, yeah.
Take it
So
up a
just
little
take it a
higher on the hill.
little higher, because
Yeah.
it slopes up if you're like heading back.
So let's do it, let's look at it.
Okay.
You know, to build something in the same place, I don't think would really work there.
I think it's too much
Yeah.
to do. Then we end up with another boardwalk,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so we need,
Let's look at it and come up with a solution. Okay, I went down across them earlier this year, but usually we're always on the upper trail doing a story walk, so it's.
did Terry get a hold of you about wood chips? Not yet.
She didn't, but, we can, just try to schedule out sometime. The trails are at the upper trail where we put
It
them.
looks
It's
good.
actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it does look good. It was on there too.
And
If it dry summer.
it's in the dry summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could Andy showed you director when you being the.
Oh, that'd be great.
But it's kind of-
Well, mine's even smaller, I think, than hers.
but anyway, that's just-
Yeah, I could do a few little older guys or.
Who was it that had it?
And, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he walks those trails all the time.
And, I getting caught up with my stuff to do. Take the.
Also getting the tractor over there, it would be easier for Andy to bring his.
Yeah,
tractor.
I do have a trailer.
is Terry gonna reach out to him or was Terry gonna reach out to him?
No, he just, said that he had offered,
Okay,
again, she was leaving the action up to us.
okay,
That would be the time to drag those.
right,
platforms out of there.
right. Okay, let me talk to her and Or are you gonna talk to her and see if they?
Yeah.
And then I saw you had the final cleaning scheduled for the buildings.
I do,
Okay,
so that's all set.
okay, so, Nature Conservancy has an issue with our map.
Yeah.
The concern is that how the map is drawn is the border of their property, not anything to do with our properties. Jack walked out there apparently to the end and saw the "You Are Here" sign that's way out there, which is gonna come down because it shouldn't be in his property, although he was okay with it, but his concern was the way it's drawn on the map, their property line. It looks like a narrow thing right around the trail, and it really is bigger, much bigger. And his concern was related to hunters knowing where to go. Is this really our problem? Probably not, but what I was concerned about is that he had mentioned something about permitting for hunting, and yet his sign says hunting allowed up there as you go in. So,
And it's confusing.
Didn't
So
well,
hunting allowed implies that you don't need a permit?
yeah,
Is that what you're
yes.
driving at?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Oh, it's just the language of our sign says,
So our sign now says
take
it's
permit.
allowed, yeah,
that could also mean allowed.
yeah.
It's just how you.
Didn't we talk about this at the?
Yeah, we did.
We
At the
did.
last meeting?
So we did it for our sign, and
Right,
so,
yours, I think the language that we had talked about it and the language that you had come up with for the sign was much clearer than the existing signage.
right, but I don't know what his rule is now. Because I thought he is allowing hunting, but the way he was talking, they have to permit hunting,
Oh, interesting.
like permit,
People
get a
have to-
permit.
People have to apply to the,
Nature
Nature
Conservancy.
Conservancy to get a permit.
Oh,
So the email was very confusing to me. I
I
don't know.
wonder if that's why the language of the existing signage is the way it was.
I don't know.
so
But people, generally, I don't think you can get permits to hunt down there,
yeah. I
Well, maybe
we
it's,
had a group of guys who were setting up a tree stand.
but they have permit.
They had got a permit from the town.
From the town.
Yeah.
The town doesn't have permits.
Alright.
It wasn't from the town.
Cause somebody
Yeah.
went to Corinne
Okay.
and asked her, how do I get a permit? And she goes, I don't know anything about permits.
Alright.
So should we get John and
Mhm.
made the map? And ourselves and the Nature Conservancy guys,
Probably.
Sit down.
Did they review it before? Did he look at Jack Mikowski look at it?
they asked on reviewing it.
Uh,
And both of them did, the land trust and, we're too busy, whatever you do will be fine,
Easier to complain after. the
I
fact,
wonder,
right?
I wonder if they were using the word permitted, not like a permit that someone's issued, but permitted as in permission
Oh,
has been
yeah.
given, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they're just saying, you gotta let us know if you're gonna be there and we need to say it's okay. I mean, which wouldn't be up to, on us,
I
but
would be worried about people going on private, outside their land.
well, if you look at it this way, if it's not permitted, if you have to have a permit from them to go on, he wants them to know what their property borders are, right? But, so I assume that anybody can just go on and,
Well, if it's not posted land,
Yeah, you can,
you can hunt anywhere.
Yeah,
with permits. So some of the nature conservancies,
yeah.
Is this the Nature
That's not
Conservancy
true.
sign, this red one? Or is that ours?
oh, that one's gone. That's
Okay.
ours and that's gone.
'Cause I think
If the property is
Yeah.
not posted, you can hunt on it,
Yeah,
even
So,
if it's private.
Yeah.
so what he's saying and what they have at some of their other properties, Nature Conservancy, is some of them say no hunting and some say hunting with permits only. And that's
Mm.
all they allow.
and in fact, neither stand up in the court.
No,
Good.
That's their problem,
That's
but.
exactly- we say that
What
to them, but-
so my confusion is, well, see, we've got the map thing, but is it really our problem?
Yeah.
But our rules say you can hunt there, and is it right that they can hunt there or not?
I think we just,
I
Yeah.
think we do too.
okay,
Okay,
I will,
Do they issue permits, the Nature Conservancy?
in some of their sites.
Oh, okay. At this site?
I don't, that's what I'm confused about.
Ever since we've been involved with this, it's always, there's hunting allowed on Nature Conservancy, but not at.
And that's
That
what
ain't-
I took it to be too, and that's what our sign now says.
Maybe-
But we have to change our sign if if it requires a
Well,
permit.
we should just talk to them and see. what
Yeah,
their
exactly.
policy
They don't vote.
is. No.
They don't have it posted,
And
they
the
just have,
students don't post theirs either.
Well,
And whether that means a permit from them? Or a
Yes.
permit from the state?
It's
or
a permit
From the town?
from nature, the property owner, the Nature
Then that needs to
Conservancy.
be clarified on the side.
And-
Right,
and they need
But
to
I think
post.
that's what he was saying to Terry.
and they have to vote it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So. on my-
Well, we don't care if they post it, so long as, right, I mean,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they're comfortable with our signage, it's in, you know, they should just do what they're gonna do in terms of posting it.
yeah.
So on our farm, if we wanted to exclude hunters, we have to post. We have to be able to see from one sign to the next
Yeah.
sign, they have to be signed and dated every year. And you have to go to the town and you have to register that your land is posted. And if you don't do all those things, the land is open, period.
I think Yandell's side is posted.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's not legally posted. It's not, doesn't meet all the requirements, but it is posted.
Yeah.
So do we pursue this then?
I don't
Well,
think
I
it's our
think-
problem.
Well, I think we have to make sure our signage is correct,
Well,
because
that's-
we wanna be good neighbors.
Yeah,
And so I think, as Tim was mentioning, just,
Okay.
you know,
but the thought, if we had, I don't wanna get into the business of changing our maps because that's the brochures, that's all the signs, that's a lot of money.
How many do you print and how much do you cost? I forgot.
Well, each one of the "You Are Here" signs
No, oh, yeah, right, but the.
and the front map sign,
Yeah.
and then 450 brochures.
mm,
Well, they're gone, some of them are gone now, but
So you're feeling that, it's our responsibility to, let people know that they need to get a permit to hunt?
no, but we're telling them they can go in there and hunt.
Right.
And so we shouldn't be telling them if they're not allowed to go in there and hunt, right?
Right,
Cause our trail is their access.
right, I get that, but what do our brochures say?
It says that you can go in there and hunt, and, but you have to, unload your weapon to go through
Right,
Camp Ingles to get there.
Well, and that's true of any of the backfields. They can access the backfields through angles. And they have to, unload their weapons going through, but it's none of that land is posted back there.
But that's what he said in the email,
Right.
that you need some kind of permit, and that's what threw me off. And so if they do, then we just need to understand what that means to our
I
signage.
think I would ask for clarification. I ask
Well,
them,
That's,
ask them have you changed your policy?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what Stroud was saying. is
Yeah.
Just ask them what they need,
Yeah.
like a
Who
permit.
was it that you were speaking with?
I didn't speak to anybody. It came all through Terry. Terry talked to Jack Makowski
Yeah,
and then sent an email. I thought she sent it to you too.
yeah. I was just trying to think of who she sent.
Jack Makowski and Makowski. I don't think John Hayden can help us. I don't think Terry can help us here.
Okay,
Because we have no intention in changing our maps, correct? To put their property line, correct?
yeah.
I don't see, unless he wants to fund them.
well,
I think we just ask for clarification.
We just need clarification on
We could-
hunting.
we could change it when we reprint. So we
And the signs too.
Magic mark.
Okay.
Another question about hunting. Is our back border and side border posted for no hunting?
No,
No.
I haven't seen any no hunting signs along the back border, nor on the south border.
No, we don't have any there that I've ever
And
seen.
so should we,
That's a good question.
post angles, the entire property legally? How many feet?
I wouldn't post them. I think I would look at what, do safety zone,
Yeah, but
because they're public trails and the buildings are there. And I have to look up the regulations on safety zone.
Forgot how far.
Yeah, it's at least 150 feet, I think.
Yeah.
If not more than that. And so maybe we could put up safety zones on it or something like that. But I think this is always something we need to look at. Now, P-lots, on the other hand, hunters allowed.
Mhm. Okay,
Is anyone aware of any instances in which someone has intentionally or erroneously hunted at Ingalls?
No, I don't think so. I think most of the people know. Most of the,
Yeah.
it's not like.
Well, I think people coming from away might not know about hunting season.
Mhm.
And, I think I just try to stay off trails during hunting season.
Mhm.
But.
I think we just need to clarify it and
I
then
do think we need
maybe think about if we need to do something about our property. cleanup.
posting in some respect.
okay. The tree is still down, hasn't been, Tracy hasn't gotten to it yet. I was surprised he offered, to be honest with you, but.
You probably thought it was a maple, but it's not, it's a basswood.
And big. All right, did we? Did we want to,
Pretty close.
change the door lock codes now that camps are over, or do we want to wait until the spring after we
Wait,
have
finish
membership
spring.
change?
Wait till the final code.
Would that be okay? I'll let you know.
Okay,
And let me know too, because I'm doing those fire extinguisher
Oh, good.
checks.
okay. Oh, and the last one. The vernal pool platform is wonky.
Mhm.
I think it's slid down the post. The back end of it is slid down its post, and then therefore the walkway up to it is off kilter. You can still stand on it, it doesn't rock, but it's not really,
It's never been a really accessible platform for the vernal pool. If you know it lives in a vernal pool, it's pretty tiny.
mhm.
So in terms of, it being an effective way to see things, I think eventually we should remove it and think about creating something a little bit lower.
Should we remove it the same time we're taking out the function?
But my recommendation would be to remove it. yeah,
Okay.
Because it would take more effort to try to fix it
Yeah,
and make it, accessible the way it should be. Than it would be to start from scratch.
I think what would be more effective might be a sign explaining what a vernal pool is, just in that area.
there is something there.
Yeah, there is something,
Okay.
yeah.
They just double on my brain.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but this is
Maybe.
slid down.
And I think there's a bench in there too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
but
is.
see, this.
So
this-
maybe a bench and a
bench.
sign, that way people can
I
sit
mean,
and.
I'm
They can
for
read
stuff
it.
like this, I'm a fan of just a crushed stone pad
Yeah,
with a bench,
The bench
it's
is a
just-
nice idea.
you don't have to,
And
maintain
hang
it,
You do have to hang out a while to see some of those.
Yeah.
So this may take a little bit to get down. It looks like it's bolted in there
It
along.
was a bear to put in.
Yeah, were you on that? Carl?
Yeah. It's that hill,
Yeah.
you come over the bridge and you go down. Carl, he had his four-wheeler, we got stuck, it was a mess.
What do you all think about entertaining a motion to employ some to remove the functions and the
Chat,
I think if you had a good bucket loader, you could
yeah.
get in and strap it,
chainsaw.
hang,
Yeah.
chainsaw.
get it all the way out.
cut it
Yeah,
off,
I'd be-
Throw in the bucket,
Wanna talk to Chad and see if,
Yeah,
that'd be a good solution, hopefully.
And keep the sign, I think the sign is a good sign from the commercial, keep the sign.
Informative.
I think so. It's been a while since I looked at it, but I think it's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that. We'll see how much Chad's gonna charge us to take that out. It would be probably a good idea to do it this fall. Cause spring's gonna be,
It's pretty dry in there.
yeah, it's now, yeah, it'd be a good time to do it. Okay, anything else with, Ingalls? How about the footpath?
This house looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, Terry's report on the footpath was, it's good, but a little rough. And she said near the entry, she wanted to push things back a little bit more. I think so sometime we could look at
Are
that.
we talking about
She said that,
parking lot entry?
What's the name of the woman who volunteers and she sometimes helps with flipping? She
Oh.
lives just down,
Yeah,
right?
is her
Down the
name?
road
She's so good.
I'm sorry for you if you watched the video, I can't remember it. But anyway, Terry said, I think she's been in there and she's flipped some things and pruned them. But it needs to be cut back to the trunk, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe we need Terry to tell us what she.
Or with, yeah.
But that was all. And I got, a comment, I met some folks, who live in, Cedarvale, backed up to the trail. And they were very appreciative of what we have done, how nice it is, but they felt it was very rough.
The roots you need.
And Terry said the same thing, so,
We can't really do anything about it.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Motor mulch
Go.
or chips or.
Yeah, but that's not good for the trees. It's a trail, then so it's.
Anyway, just report.
Yeah, John and I go in and wash the tables off periodically. And you know what, and there's always like different chairs around the beach. Last year it was like 2 Adirondack chairs. And this year,
Going back to the whole
this
time.
year, it looks like,
Well, people go out there and watch the sunset.
Sure.
exactly,
In the marina.
there's a metal folding chair out there on the side of it. It's also one of the places that I check for, cyanobacteria, so.
And Carrie, we ran into Carrie last time we were there, last week. And she said that, you know, people love the benches, the picnic table.
Anything else?
I think at the last meeting, we stated that we're not going to replace this.
We're not going, we don't get to replace the stuff. no.
Right, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I had put Trail Steward update because I assumed Terry was gonna be here, but she had a last minute cancellation.
Yeah, you covered everything.
That she had?
You took me to breakfast yesterday. We covered it all. Other than she brought up the same thing we did, Gene, about donations and stuff, so we can tell them.
We'll get.
Okay.
Okay, pickleball update.
Yeah, there you go.
Pictures.
Have you been over there?
Just for the ground break. Oh, no, no.
So they got a top coat, a second layer asphalt, all the posts are in,
Already?
perimeter fence.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The fencing, the posts are down, the middle, net posts are all in.
That's amazing.
So they're waiting for the concrete to cure or the asphalt to cure. And they'll be painted probably in 2 or 3 weeks.
How many parks are there?
4.
Holy cow. You'll be playing this fall.
We'll be playing in October. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And the other good news is Bonnie's now on the board of the IPA.
That's right.
I can tell you,
Oh,
Oh, I'm not doing that.
yeah, they jumped right on that project and they just went
That's
to
really
town.
great. That's great.
The supervisor moved his RV up there and just stayed there the whole time.
Who's doing the work?
It's, Vermont Fencing and
Oh, yeah.
Recreational out of St. Johnsbury.
No.
So is that gonna be ready to go in the spring?
It's gonna be ready to go in October.
Wow.
They're gonna paint it and do the
Yeah,
lines,
yeah.
put the nets up. Yeah, we'll have a big grand opening
Oh.
in the spring.
Okay.
I'd like to get the governor to come to play pickleball. That's why, you can answer it.
Probably Tracy.
Now the portalet.
Portalette question.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a call from Court Perry, who's been working this project for us. and Joe Tyson, who's the new regional manager. And they were trying to identify a spot for a portalet, and they're now gonna go behind the hedges over there. But they wanted to know if we were willing to split the cost of a portalet next season. They feel it's too far to walk to the bathrooms. It is a long way. I'm a little bit ambivalent about it we did go in there with the infrastructure of the state, thinking that all those things would be taken care of. But if it was split between the IPA, the state, and us, it'd be $300 a season. And we get a portalet behind the hedges right next to it. And it may give us, keep our finger in the Knights Point
Would
project.
it replace the ones at the school? or
We're
would
gonna,
it addition?
the IPA, and Bonnie should answer this probably, we're gonna keep those courts going, right?
Right, that, until they tell us we can't, until the school says no. Is that what you're
Is that
talking about,
gonna-
North here?
Is that gonna happen?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Well, it's probably easier to have no kids there.
There's no school there.
Right.
what are they gonna do with the space?
So we're not a school.
The,
Right.
my thought, and this is up to the board, is to turn that into a training site, both for clinics and for if people just want to drill and not play, open play, then North Hero is available. We could schedule, drill time up there. So I think it will continue, and probably a portalet will still be needed there. So it'd be a $300 increase over what we're paying now, $145 a month at the school.
What does everyone think?
It's really putting our money into where the state should be covering it. If you want to look at it that way.
So the state thinks it's too far for the pickleball players to walk to go to the
Yes.
bathroom? I'm gonna tell you, I know I don't like portalets. It's very rare that I see people use the restroom. So I think that,
The portalet, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think in the case where you wanted to, you just walk over.
Now, have you been into those bathrooms there?
There's some-
I
No, I don't do the portalets
Yeah, I
at,
No, but I mean, the ones at the,
at Knight's Point.
yeah.
No.
I have.
They're kind of portalets.
They're,
But don't
they're one step up. They're
Don't-
walking- they're walking down. I mean, why don't we wait? I mean, if the idea in putting the force there was that you were gonna borrow facilities, why don't people play on the courts for a little bit? And if people mention something, then we think about it.
How about going for a season
With them or without them?
without them,
But,
without it?
well, I would say if we don't go for it, the IPA and the state will probably split the cost, I would think. But, if somebody had to use golf cart, you park it right there too. Run down to the bathrooms pretty quick. There's other ways to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just only raised it because Joe is following. I didn't think a $300 expense for the state to eat, they can afford it, I think.
Okay,
And they're gonna start to make money on the pickleball courts.
so you push back on the,
I did push back a little bit. And I'll just report back that we talked about it and we'll give it a season.
Yeah, see what happens.
Hmm.
How many, portalets do you have at this school?
Just one. You mean here in North York?
Yeah.
Yeah, just one. Down in Grand Donaldson, they have 2 portalets. And the Grand Isle Rec funds both of those. One down by the court and one up by the Little League.
hey, anything else with pickleball?
No,
Mary Jo, you want to give a little recap on the Ingalls social the school had?
Yep, it was lovely. The day was beautiful. We didn't have a whole lot of people, but it was a Saturday in the summer, so people have plans. But the people who were there were very positive. They didn't, well, you were there for a while, Jean. They mingled and drank coffee and ate, and the kids had games to play and interacted well. There weren't very many kids from North Hero, none from Isle of Mott that I could see. I brought my granddaughter, and Dan Foster and Megan were there with their 3 kids, but they all go to Grand Isle now, and Dan teaches there. But it was lovely. Ashley did a great job. It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah, it was good. And then the second part of that is future plans for the PT. It's called the PTA now. It's not a PTYO. Um, there's two parts of this. I talked to Mary Ellen, and she wants to continue with the things that we've helped her with before, the Harvest Festival and the Cookies with Santa, and they're both going to be done up in North Hero at the school. Although it'll include, of course, everybody in the school district, and then there's a part of the with what I had approached Ashley about, and that's continuing to offer a bus or part of a bus because there's so many kids, and the use of Ingalls. And I was supposed to go to the in-service, but I didn't feel well I've had this anyway, it doesn't matter. But I had sent her photos and she had made a presentation, almost like a PowerPoint, but through Google Docs. And so she sent it to me and I moved some of the photos around because of course she didn't know how I was, how I wanted, how the land, I wanted it to be sequential from here to here to here to here. And then I was able to put some captions under each photo. And she did it herself. And I talked to a couple of people who were there and they said that the teachers were very enthusiastic. Within days, I heard from the music teacher and the art teacher who came up. I met them at Ingalls and showed them inside the longhouse, and they walked around the trails a little bit, and they're both really excited to do things. Victoria is an art teacher, and she wants to do some plein air drawing. I told her about our wildflowers. In Austin, the music teacher wants to have band practice up there and then take a break and just kind of do things in the field and on the hiking trails, and then have another band practice inside, which I think is such a wonderful idea. So I think they haven't made any dates. One of them said, "How do you keep this warm in December?" And I said, "We don't. The winter is kind of off limits with the building." So I think I'll just wait a few more weeks and then I'll just get in touch with Victoria and Austin again. Um, but I hear that everybody was very enthusiastic, which is great.
That's
And the
good
third
news.
thing that isn't on here, but if I mentioned, remember I asked to get some, we use $100 for some field guides. Well, I ordered some of them, and I didn't want to order through Amazon, even though they're cheaper and they're quick. I'm just trying not to use Amazon anymore. So I ordered some through Phoenix Books. And I've only used $60 of the money because I really want to see some of the field guides. Um, and so they should be here in a couple weeks. They'll be mailed to me, and I'll keep you apprised of that. I want to order a few more, um, but I won't know until I get them. That's it.
Thank you,
Can
that's
I
good.
ask you something?
Mhm.
I'm starting to arrange the final cleaning for the longhouse, so if they're. If the school is wanting to use the longhouse in the fall, I need to know that so I can postpone the final cleaning.
Okay,
Um,
I'll
And
get in
there is-
touch with, yeah, I
there is
don't know what,
there, and we need to know when we can turn the water off as well.
yeah, and I had told them about that, and Jean and I had, well, was there when I was talking to someone, and we told them, or Jean told them, we turn the water off pretty normally at the end of October, but if the beginning of November is still, viable in terms of it not freezing, then we could go that far. But, schools only, they haven't even been in school for a week. So I'm thinking that they're just, not thinking too much about that. But I'll wait a week or so and then I'll get in touch with those two. And they may be thinking of the spring. I don't know. So maybe there won't be anything in the fall and it'll just be the spring. Although Ashley said that she really wanted once a trimester to do something in North Hero or Isle of Mott, just to keep the kids connected to their origins. So I'll be in touch with them.
That's good news, Mary Jo.
Yeah, I was really very excited. Ashley was more enthusiastic than I even imagined. She's she's the bright point in this closing, not closing, but the kids moving to another school because the rest of it is not very happy for me. But she's great and she's going to do everything she can. I have no doubt in my mind to keep the kids happy.
Any
As happy as-
questions? Okay, moving on to capital budget. So Lisa is suggesting that we put the boardwalk on the capital budget request and potentially ask for funding from the town since we're having so much difficulty in getting funding elsewhere. So there is gonna, I've provided her with some of the background information that I had used for the grant. But my understanding, and you heard some of the meeting, is we're probably on the very bottom of the list and the chances of us getting any money is probably pretty slim. And so we're gonna have to figure out some other kind of funding source in order to do this. I'm gonna continue trying the grants, but the odds are just so bad. But I'll keep trying. But at one point, we had talked about having a 501(c) or C3. C3 organization, similar to what the library has, to raise funds outside the scope of our group. And I don't know if we should start having a discussion seriously about that. There's been times over the past year where people have been willing to donate money to us, both for the scholarship funds, but also when Terry put out the word that we needed some help with the boardwalk, she got some feedback that people would also be willing to give us funding. I don't know if we could ever raise enough to fund like the boardwalk, because it's looking, if we do it to the extent that we want to with the really do it, it's $37,000 or something like that. And so that's a lot of money to raise too. There's other options with the boardwalk too. We could redesign the trail. See if we could put it further out to the perimeter there instead of having a boardwalk, have a different trail. That's not easy to do, I think, in that space because it shoots up pretty high on two sides, and goes low on another side. But maybe there's a possibility that we could relook at the area for a different trail route through there too, and then could get rid of the boardwalk. I don't know what anyone's thoughts on any of that, but anyway, the board, I think capital is going in 2 weeks or so to the select board.
Yeah, we discussed, if this committee felt that there were issues, not just with funding, but also with other certain portions of it that are in worse shape than others, and so there are other sections that could be done. We have a cheaper cost than the total project, it's mainly estimated at $37,000. You're correct in that it's unlikely the select board will approve any capital project, not just to this committee or any other capital projects, any other project. We'll probably not fund something that's entirely funded by town revenue.
Mhm.
And there's also the big question about, the fire station and the public works building, what happens if they're going to vote. If it was voted to go forward in terms of cost overruns and all of that, there's a lot sort of unknown about that particular project, which is going to be a big hit for many of them, for all the taxpayers.
Well, as a taxpayer, I'm glad we're prioritized low, to be honest with you. We were looking at this. So this was to replace a boardwalk that is fairly simple with something that's a little more robust. It would last a whole lot longer. But with the expenses, I totally get that the town is facing right now. But we still need to be on your list, even if we were able to get
Right.
money elsewhere,
So I think-
right?
Mine was just having it there would be on the radar, so to speak.
Right, and then we work at seeing if there's other ways we can fund it, whether it's, I'm gonna keep trying for grants, but is there any other way that we can start collecting money to fund it? Now, what's difficult with the town is with the donations that we get, we have to use within that year. And so that's why do we need a separate group so that they can hold money over the course of greater than a year as donations or stuff roll in, but I'm not sure what the audience is out there for something like that. Is there enough people that would be willing to donate for paying paying for some of this stuff. So I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just kind of throwing things out here.
We've talked about this for
Mhm,
a number
yeah.
of years and, you know, and I think it would be a good thing to put in place.
You're talking about the 501(c)(3)?
Yes,
Yeah, friends of.
yeah, friends of the recreation committee, or friends of the
Friends of-
trails.
Friends of North Road Park.
Parks. There's one, if that's in place, then at least we have a means of collecting money and accounting for it and having a pool, even if it, yeah, we don't need to earmark it for a specific project.
Well, we'd have to define what that relationship,
So,
we'd have to define what that relationship is, but I don't know how difficult it is, you might know, setting up one of those.
I would talk to the, maybe the library.
Yeah, we can
see-
model it
see
after
how to
that.
Set that up.
We
But do we-
created one for the IPA, it wasn't bad.
Was
I
it that?
imagine the paperwork is pretty simple. It's
Straightforward.
probably more once it's up and running, managing it. And, you know, that's gonna be the time commitment.
Well, it would have to be a separate committee.
Mhm.
Or board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the board of the Friends of Francisco.
Mhm.
Let's set up like that.
I think it's something we should move forward on. And, you know,
Do you think that, do we need, I'm concerned that we put some effort in and put this together and we get $5,000, you know, and that's it. Is there an appetite, shall we say, out there for donating to this kind of cause?
Maybe hearing from the library is the next logical step, right? Because they could tell us, you know, what's necessary to maintain that type of entity. And then they might have some thoughts about their own fundraising efforts. How successful are they? And, you know, is it something that would even get us close to being able to fund a project like that?
So I look, and maybe I'll look at Michael for this question. I see a lot of things on the, well, a lot. There's 3 or 4 items, capital expenses that the library is going through capital and not getting from donations or anything. So, and they have a budget from the town too.
Right, I don't know if you look at the revenue source for each of those requests, some of them, they're funding themselves.
Okay. It's just getting it in the queue.
Right,
Okay,
but one thing, just to put out there that, like devil's advocate, just a minute, by creating an entity like this, that also gives the town the ability to say, well, you have your 501(c)(3),
Yeah.
it's to them, as opposed to to us for it.
yeah,
Something to think about.
yeah.
Yeah, there has to
Good
be
point.
clear, what the responsibilities are and going between the two organizations. But I think with regard to people's appetite for donating, two things I've noticed in fundraising is how sexy is the project? Is it a huge term?
Mhm.
And how capable are you of doing it? Is another real question that people ask. And so we'd have to think about those things. And replacing the boardwalk, not very sexy.
No.
So I think to that point, Scott, there's also some questions about, is this a state designated wetland? And should you be putting a boardwalk through a state designated wetland?
So it's a designated wetland, but we're replacing an existing. being.
Understood. People's behavior and
Well-
their attitudes and beliefs are all over the place.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And that's why
People do it.
that's why I was bringing up, we might want to reroute the trail instead. Because it would be an easier path forward for everybody all around. It might even be easier to get a grant that way too.
We certainly ought to be raising.
I think that's an option to look at,
Yeah.
rerouting and
Part
not
of the
having.
design.
Yeah.
Raise it.
Okay, so
Well,
I hear a couple thoughts, though. We probably should investigate with the library of what theirs looked like and what it would mean for us, right? Second is we should reevaluate the boardwalk location and see if there's any possibilities. To look for alternative. Third, I think we still should go put this on the capital list because we need to get their attention, even if we get other funding. That way it's in the scope of what the town has to do and any common personnel like Lisa's time is understood because she would still need to help with the administration of the grant if we got it, so that needs to be on that list.
I used to have done Michael's meeting. And one of the things Lisa said was, you know, it's really important from the town's perspective that they know all the things that, you know, most of the ones that are getting approved are ones that are self-funding, right?
Yeah.
And so it really doesn't.
The other thing, one of the purposes or goals of the committee also is to establish, number one, an inventory of all the assets of the municipality, but also then two, for the existing assets, what are the, life expectancy of each of those, and what is the anticipated cost? So that, for example, if we know we need to buy a new snowplow, let's say, in 5 years, the select board can start making decisions to start pre-funding that, you know, I'm just making this up, $5,000 this year, 5,000, so that they have a sense of what's coming up in the out years. So,
Which I totally get it, you know, I mean, as a taxpayer, I'm glad they're doing this.
almost like your own house, if you know that in 5 years, you're gonna need to replace your roof, for example, or your heating system or whatever. You can start budgeting for it early, so that when the time comes, you know, it's 80%.
Mhm.
Nah, you go to Bermuda instead.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
So would anybody be interested in doing the investigation with the library to see what it would entail?
I've read the bylaws and so on from Missisquoi, Friends of Missisquoi.
Okay,
I got the paperwork when we filed for 501c3 for the IPA that I can dig up.
Yeah, that'd be good.
and I think we should look at the library just because they're a sister organization and see how the town interacts with them too. Anyone interested? I can if,
I think it'd be interesting to know also from a select board perspective, if they have any say, so to speak, in terms of a partner or a committee of the town going out and doing something like this. So before you get too far ahead, maybe.
Well, we would need their
Yeah.
permission to do
Right.
it. I think.
well,
Unless somebody outside this committee established it.
but how much control would they have over this committee, the relationship with the committee? If we wanted to do something with
They
the,
should be
they
part- they
be
should be
funding,
part-
yeah, it could be, yeah. And then would anybody be interested in looking at investigating alternative boardwalk locations?
I was gonna walk it tomorrow when I work on boardwalk.
Okay,
And I just marked on here to go down there and take a look.
or
at it.
maybe we could do that one on Saturday too. Okay. And then we have the fence gate and gate at Ingalls we have to consider for longer term, and I was putting that in our plan. And the parking lot at Ingalls is longer term, and I'm putting in our plan, but I wasn't gonna suggest it to go to capital, because I think some of these could be lessened or be done partially and be under the radar a little bit, so, but those will go on our plan. I did send around an update. I got some feedback on the plan.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
I-
Everybody fine with that?
Mhm.
We move to
Yeah.
finalize it?
Being,
Mhm.
I had a couple of comments,
Okay,
and they're kind of left field, but maybe things for us to think longer term.
okay.
They're not in the right now, but one of them was, do we have a plan for thoughts about how to provide the North Hero public with access to the water? That's just something that is worth long-term thinking, not tonight, but long-term thinking, because there is.
Are you talking about that?
I'm sorry,
Where are you talking?
somehow to provide
Stumble.
access to the water. I don't know where we would,
Well.
this one.
That was the whole point with the footpath, number one.
Yeah.
But,
And
you
the
know,
park passes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the park passes get you to Night Point State Park.
Or
But,
get you to all.
streets.
well, but at least in North Hero itself, if the idea is there should be water access
Right.
in North Hero for North Hero
That
residents.
that was the whole idea behind that, you know. this
That was one of my questions, was about that sort of like makeshift kind of boat launch that's across from Night Point. That people, I'm sure many North Hero residents use, but I didn't know
Right.
like,
That's town property.
that's town property. Okay,
That's what I was told.
I
One
heard
time.
that the right is town and the left is state.
if you're headed towards the
If you're
drawbridge,
looking to the water, there's two,
Access.
yeah,
Street between them.
and yeah,
okay,
and the right is town and it continues on to the bridge. And the left
Okay.
is state property is
so
what I
that
heard,
parking area is
town.
the town.
Because
Or the
remember,
railway on
we had the
two.
green up there, and cleaning that up.
So I guess I'm raising the bigger picture of what are we as Parks and Rec, right? And the other piece of that is, what about, and this just, has come across the transit here, what about the school property? What about the playground, pickleball or basketball? Could there be soccer or baseball there? What about, everybody wants a freaking dog park, Yeah, so, but, what are, right now, we're a nature trail. Park and Rec,
Right,
is that what we wanna be, or should be, for the town in the long term? So maybe it's the next planning cycle, so.
Well, we can put it on the long-term ideas at the back end there.
Mhm. As far as water access, when all that property in front of Angles is waterfront, it's owned by the town.
Right.
And it
It used to be a beach.
a big waterfront.
Well, it is now too.
Yeah,
It is now too, but even when the water was high, when we went by with the boat, I was
You could
surprised that
see,
there's quite a large area of gravel beach.
yeah, I mean, I live pretty close there, I go swimming all, because I'm not on the water, but like I've found 6 or 7 places to go swimming this summer.
Good.
The issue really is, are they accessible by people who can't walk the footpath, right? Because that was one of
Or
the issues when
children.
they redid the North Hero State Park, right? Some of it's the distance.
Yeah.
So if you're not looking to walk half a mile after you park your car, really then the option is Night Point, unless you have your own little boat and you can launch it at that weird place across from Night Point. But then again, Night Point did have some bacterial issues
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
summer as well, so that kind of limits you.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're sufficiently mobile and you're okay taking some days off, like it's not bad, the access.
I didn't want to open a can of worms, but I did want to.
well, let's put it on the list and then we can discuss it at some future meeting of possibilities. How about
And I
that?
think your point about the school's a good one. I've been acting under the assumption that the school is somehow maintaining that, and I only know that because that's where the field hockey thing that my wife Erin is starting, the first day is tomorrow, and we're using the school facilities
Oh,
at
good.
the North
And
Hero
did
School.
you go through the superintendent? or-
Yeah, we went through the unified school district, like the athletic director there, they have the part-time athletic director, and they're gonna keep the fields mowed for us.
Perfect.
It's,
That's
so
great.
I've been assuming that it's they're maintaining it.
Yeah.
Technically, the town property, but
Right.
That's a question for Brad, and it depends on what this committee does.
yeah,
That's, the statewide committee now. They could say something happens with school property. It's my understanding now that the town owns that property. And if it's, if they decide to sell it, it would be a town vote to sell it. And I don't know the minutia
Mhm.
of that, but at this point, I think it's considered town property.
Right, but I guess who
Now-
maintains the former school facilities is a different question.
yeah, right.
Well, well,
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Feel better.
Hope you feel
So-
better.
Why don't we put it on the list and then it can be a future discussion
Mhm.
on this? And do you have anything else on the plan that you wanted to?
That
Okay,
was my atomic bomb.
okay.
And we don't have to talk about any of my comments. They were all just, this looks fun. You
Okay.
know, is it something, that we really want to do and can I help us? So that can all be discussed at a later date.
Okay,
But I did notice that there were like 1 or 2 other references to the North Hero School as opposed to the
oh.
Unified,
it's,
whatever it's called now.
Okay,
Grand Isle Unified School District or something like that. I don't know.
Champlain Island, CIUUSD, not GICI, because I was doing Grand Isle for ages until I saw it. I'm thinking, God, I'm saying it wrong.
okay.
I thought it looked really good. Thanks for doing
Do you have
it
any?
Yeah.
together.
Call from
So-
superintendent? No.
With those few changes,
I mean, it.
we'll approve it,
Yeah.
okay? So who's primary? You did,
yes.
second, okay. All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Okay. With changes, okay.
Go back,
Um,
just one second.
Yeah.
One question. Can someone give us a gift,
they can,
not make a donation?
oh, I don't know how they would handle it in the office.
If someone give you a gift to get past the 1 year kind of thing.
I don't know how they would handle it with the financial stuff.
Right, that's kind of.
Cause even the grant is no longer showing up on our budget, the grant from Audubon, and we still have funding left, so I'm tracking that. Because it should be able to go year to year, anything left over.
You know, we wouldn't have the money in hand, but a pledge is not, you know, like, if,
It's not funny. I mean,
Right, and if
know,
you
we
were-
talk about- I keep talking about building a observation deck down on the lots, you know?
Mhm.
What if we had a big donor that said, I'm gonna give you that? You know?
Mhm.
Or a portal.
It's gonna take 2 years to do it, but.
I think that's the whole idea behind the Friends of the Committee, because
Then they could.
anything that comes to us
Would be a gift.
would be separate. Right now, anything that gets donated to us goes into the general fund.
Yeah.
You're kind of earmark it for us.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
But
It
it kind of
disappears.
disappears.
They just said they could set it aside. Yeah, anyway,
all right,
it was a trick.
all right, I sent around the draft budget
Yeah.
Mhm.
for next year. If you look at the total, we're at 43,682. I just wanted to remind everybody that we were, under by almost $5,000 last year.
Yeah.
So. Let me see, where was that? And the year before, we were under about $3,000. So the number I've tallied up here, and I've got no input other than the plan, so I'm looking for input now. We're not gonna finalize this today. We're gonna finalize this at the beginning of October. Right now, I've got a number of 43,600, whereas last year, or this year, this current year, we were at 46. So if you could review this and provide feedback, we'd like to finalize at the beginning of October. Because it goes to the select board for finalization towards the end of our, mid to end of October, at whatever meeting that is. So we have to be done.
So
by
am I
then.
following this right? You reduced the projected budget to account for the fact that we've had this.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was, well, that's a question, Bernie, I have. For Lauren, we might want to cut her loose.
She's very helpful in terms of getting everything
But
set up.
But she's not making any money off of us. We originally thought she'd be making $7,000. She made $1,000 this year.
She's fine with that.
Okay,
She's busy in school and I think
okay. So that's part of the money was a reduction
I see.
because we went for 7,000 thinking we'd need
Okay.
more. Bernie's doing more of the work, so then money's come down.
Okay. I was just thinking, you had mentioned that the longer term parking lot fence gate at Ingles, if we chunked it up. Well, if we're running between 3 and 5 over and we kept our budget basically the same. And thought we were gonna have a similar overage next year, could we take that 3 to 5 and budget it for a chunk of like?
So
Ingles?
if you look at some of the contracted services here, I've got 4,000
For
for
that?
nothing. Yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
nothing, so nothing defined other than what we have in the plan, right?
Okay,
And then for general maintenance and trail maintenance, I have another 2,200 for supplies. So we do have something already there, whether it's enough or not, I'm wide open for discussion, but the main difference was a reduction down to $2,000
I see.
of
Yeah.
of her salary that we've been carrying. I kept the same for the directors and stuff for the camps and
Yeah.
stuff. I kept all that the same. Soon we were gonna basically do the
the
same
same, yeah.
camps. on that, so that's all the same.
Same camps and same pay rate for the directors. I think.
Yeah,
It's
and
a-
basically
it's a
the same
generous
amount.
Pay rate.
Hmm?
It's a generous pay rate.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then also the same for supplies, roughly the same, like 100 for kayak, 100 for swimming, 300 for everybody else, because they all stayed within that this year.
Right.
And then it's a rough guess on the state park passes. We're gonna have to watch the pickleball. crowd.
Pickleball feet.
Yeah, I'm sort of getting the feeling that we might have a bigger bill this year, so. And because of our swim lessons at Albert Dunes State Park this summer,
They were good.
they were good.
Okay, so I'm gonna up
Last couple
that.
of Rangers were not counting us,
Right.
because the families went in. They-
Okay,
they
I'm gonna
really-
increase that then.
Yeah.
Now, you'll notice something a little bit different from, well, you might not notice it, I notice it. We had to separate programs, see in the bottom section of the form I sent out, programs, contracted services, and equipment and supplies. Because the auditor wanted to counter the income that we get from the camp fees against the program costs. And so I had to jigger it with, Lisa a little bit. But it's just categorization, that's it. So I'm gonna up it to about $5,000 then for the park passes from 37.
That'll be good.
Oh, I think so too.
Okay,
Next year's park passes, you may wanna print on the passes themselves. Not for pickleball use.
Okay, I just ordered a whole.
So you guys have a separate deal?
The deal's gonna be first Green Mountain Pass, if you can qualify for that. And then the next is the IPA cut a deal with the state that you get a $20 season pass for state
Okay.
parks statewide instead of $30, 20 bucks. So they're pushing everybody, but there are gonna be people that are gonna try and use North Hero passes for pickleball, and I wouldn't
I
want to.
think you should tell them they don't have a choice.
Well, we do, but that doesn't mean,
Also,
I've had to straighten a few people out already.
whoever the ranger is, you can tell them at the gate,
Yeah,
if you want to restrict it like that. You can
Yeah.
just tell them at the gate.
yeah.
but what,
I mean, there won't be anything this season, because they're not gonna bother.
what if
us this-
somebody that's here visiting just wanted to go in there? I mean, well, what if?
They charge them $5, regular
Well,
entrance. fee.
what if a town member who's not part of IPA wanted to use the pickleball courts on off hours?
They can do it on off hours.
Yeah,
The IPA owns them till 1:30,
yeah,
but after that, they can use them, but the access is, they're on their own.
yeah, so they might wanna use our town passes.
That's
to do
true.
that.
They could,
Mhm.
but that wasn't what the park passes were intended for.
No,
I mean, the fear is, most, grandparents go twice a year there to bring grandkids. Well, you play 3 times a week. You start hitting it 3 times a week, or, yeah.
A day.
And you're up to 50 for the summer. You can't afford that. And so Bonnie will have to keep an eye on that.
And basically, the park pass, you just show it. It's not like you hand it to them and they examine it.
Right.
you just wave it.
Yeah.
But they must do a check mark that
They-
a North Hero pass has come in.
they have-
Yeah.
They got
it-
something, yeah.
Sometimes I've just shown it and they just say, enjoy. And then I had one time I had someone say, can I check your license to make sure you're a North Hero resident? I said, sure.
Seriously?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that was all very good. So
Wow.
yeah.
That.
So I was like, sure, fine, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
That's interesting.
That's like even with the Green Mountain Pass, sometimes we just, I've got a Green Mountain Pass. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
even have to-
You think about your wallet.
we don't even have to show our Green Mountain passes because we look at, okay.
Yeah. Gene.
Yeah.
Trail steep sections repair.
Yeah. So that was based on, an estimate John had given me about a year ago. Those are the 3 areas that, have water, yeah, the water boards are to actually dig them out and make more steps or levels down.
But there's nothing in there.
I don't have anything there?
Yeah,
Where is
oh,
it?
no money in
It's
there.
under PNR contracted.
Oh, that's because I, didn't know whether you guys wanted to go through with that or not. That was me just doing a draft. I can add the money back in.
I would put some money back in there. That's something that we, we may not get all of it done, but we get some of it done. And I think that's also contracted services, so, yeah.
You know what? You know why I don't have it there is because it's in this fiscal year. Yeah,
So we gotta get it done.
we gotta get it done by next June.
Okay.
Unless we switch things around.
How much money do you have allocated?
$3,000. I think that's what you came up with back in the envelope.
Yeah,
It was about a year or two ago.
No,
Yeah.
Would
And-
would Chad be interested in doing
Um,
it? Chad?
Is Chad doing the excavating for, improving the road? How do you with that?
Was he gonna extend it?
He's gonna, well, we haven't talked to him yet, but the plan was to have him extend that.
Oh,
Probably, and you had the guy that was doing that has a mini excavator.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Chad has a mini or not, he might not.
It's something we need to be aware of, that we gotta finish it this year.
well, we have the money this year. We could shift things around if we want to, different projects. And move it out, move it in,
I'd ask Chad if he'd be willing to do those
Yeah.
steps. They set a post, granite post for mailbox at Harry Petrov's place. And it was Chad's crew that was digging the hole and setting the granite. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, thank you. And do you remember how much your estimate was for fixing Rydell? When you looked into grants, right, to
the wildflower.
that, isn't that the trail down from the parking lot that needs all the work on it? The steep trail.
Oh, that. I'll have to look to see what the breakdown is, part of that 3,000. I think it was the most expensive thing, but I think some of the other ones were around $800 or $900, the two other sites. So one of them is, that corner as you're coming back on Bayside, in the southeastmost corner
Yeah.
there. And, the other one was I think was the approach to railroad bed. So the railroad bed was relatively cheap
Right.
to do, we thought.
Right.
I'd have to look at the breakdown that we had for it. It was probably a year or two ago that we put that money together, together.
And weren't we talking about eliminating that trail up the,
We keep trying.
yeah,
Right.
Up the,
the bad trail?
oh, nobody's taken that. That's all covered over now.
Okay,
The one that one's all blocked off
Yeah,
and it's got a
right.
that one
sign.
was gonna be a lot of money.
Right, what I'm talking about, is the whole long trail to the parking.
The switchback.
You were gonna do grants for that or something.
Yeah, it was part of the umbrella grant with the
With the
boardwalk.
board.
But then when we changed the design of the boardwalk to up it to, more permanent solution,
Yeah,
then that came out of the grant because there wasn't enough grant money for it.
so how much was that?
That's what I thought was the $3,000.
Really? Thought that
Yeah.
was for up at the end?
We'll take a look at
Mhm.
what John had.
If they can be done for $3,000, we gotta think about putting it in.
So that,
Well, let me take a look at the estimate, let's think about exactly what we wanna have done, so we can write it up and then have Chad price it up, and then,
yeah, and it's those three
Yeah.
sites, those three locations that,
I don't think we ever got that far. Yeah, I think
No, you
it
had
was
it
just
back
a
in-
general,
it was going into the grant, so that's why we had a number.
right,
Can we do like a meeting and walk through there? Just
Yeah,
to
well-
make sure we're all talking the same thing
Yeah,
and
we'll be down there.
prioritize.
well,
We'll be down there and
I
say,
know.
well, that's why we should itemize it and do a narrative about what we want,
yeah,
what we need to do there and what we wanna do there, and get it priced up.
but some of that, I would think the town would be really supportive of, because it's liability.
Yeah, definitely.
No, so.
Or we close the trail,
Okay.
All right, so this is just off the top of my head. Please look at it. It should align with the plan for not this fiscal year, but this is for the fiscal year starting in July. And then we have to finalize it and approve it in the October meeting.
And when does it go to the select board? November or right after
In
that?
October, I think it's the mid to late meeting,
Okay.
late October meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's not, I'm not sure, I don't, it should be a schedule
I
of
think-
who's doing.
Yeah, I
what,
think
right?
it had to be. I think it's almost always mid to late October. So we have to finalize in October. We won't
The-
have a
the
meeting
meeting
before
of 20.
the 20th. We won't have a meeting. I don't think we'll have a meeting before they do it.
It's the
in
sixth
November.
and the 20th in October, so it's probably.
Must be the 20th. Okay, so and if you've got anything right off the top of your head, just send me an email on it so that we have a close to final version before when it comes back out to you in October.
Sure.
Okay, and then make sure we're aligning with the plan. Is there any, I also sent an updated version today because I got the reports today of where we are with the this fiscal year.
I don't look at it closely.
And then I think we're pretty much done the agenda. There's no, any other pre-approvals? There's no receipts and invoices. Anything else we think we're gonna need to spend that we haven't gotten? That can't wait till next month. Okay, motion to adjourn,
So move.
second,
Second.
any further comments?
Now that you mention it, no.
Yeah, I just
All in
have a
favor?
question. I have a
Yeah.
question for Bernie. When is the final cleaning of Ingalls scheduled for now?
I was hoping to do it in the next couple of weeks because I was not aware of anything happening with.
Yeah, I'm not aware of it either, but, and we did reach out to the school, so, but I'll be in touch with Ashley this week. And just tell her that we need to know.
That would be helpful. That would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll do that.
Probably
We didn't vote on that.
we have to turn off the water mid-October.
Yeah, but I thought Jean said that we might be able to forestall that a little bit if it was needed.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe they can't get it together until the spring and then it's a moot point, but I'll find out.
Okay, before everyone leaves, we need to vote here. Any more comments?
No.
All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Someone told me this beach used to be a public beach.
I don't
Yeah, it
know if
used
this
to be.
Was it a public beach?
Yeah,
Big
right in
Bang?
the corner.
Oh, yes. The